Makera just released the all-new Z1, a desktop CNC built to carve through solid aluminum like it's warm butter. So today, we're going to see if it can survive a 3D printing guy attempting to learn subtractive manufacturing. Hello ladies and gentlemen, I'm Dan, and welcome back to my workshop. Today, we're going to be taking a look at the Makera Z1 desktop CNC. Now, if you know anything about me or my channel, I'm an additive manufacturing guy. I like 3D printing. Subtractive manufacturing, on the other hand, other than a few college courses, I haven't really touched CNCs much. I did kind of stumble my way through using this machine at first, but now I'm pretty confident in using it. Quick side note, Makera did not sponsor or pay me to make this video. They simply sent me this machine and asked me to make a review video on it. All thoughts and opinions are my own. You'll honestly spend more time unboxing the mountain of cardboard it arrives in than actually assembling the machine itself. Along with the Z1, I got their full accessory setup. The accessory kit, a low profile vise, a vacuum bed, a laser engraver, a 4th axis module, and the Cyclone dust collection light. This unit costs $1,099 for the standalone unit, and the price will increase as you go up in the tiers. It can machine a wide variety of materials such as aluminum, brass, Delrin, wood, and so on. The machine does not automatically swap bits. You have to pull down the lever and then swap the bits manually whenever it asks you to do so. I also installed the Cyclone dust collection, which has tubes that mount to the back of it to automatically vacuum and pull any debris from the machine. Now, in order to use the CNC, you can use Makera Studio, an all-in-one cam and machine controller built specifically for machines like the Carvera Air, and this Z1. Their website is also packed with a lot of information and tutorials so you don't instantly destroy your new toy. In the software, Makera Studio has a guided mode for 3-axis relief, 4-axis relief, and laser machining. It basically acts like a smart assistant that picks your bits, feeds, and speeds for the project. But if you want to act like you know what you're doing right away, you can throw it into custom mode and select all of this for yourself, like I did, immediately. For my first test, I decided to make a keychain with my name on it. Full disclosure, I followed the step-by-step instructions on the Makera wiki. I clamped down a 150mm by 100mm by 3mm piece of aluminum stock. I then dropped the SVG into the software and then added the processes onto it. This keychain was very simple, and following the tutorial helped me out greatly. It used 3 separate tools, one to drill the hole, another one to mill out my name, and then one to do a contour cut around the entire part. I did leave 4 tiny tabs around the metal keychain to attach it to the stock. I snipped the tabs off and freed the part. I then filed down the rough edges. And honestly, for my very first project I did on this machine, I'm very pleased with it. It came out extremely clean, all the letters are very legible, and it just looks great. However, my main issue is that I did put the keyring hole a little bit too close to the edge. So naturally, I had to do a second attempt. I made sure to scale this entire design up and moved the hole a little bit further from the edge. I ran the exact same bits and tool paths, which only took about 45 minutes. And the final result looks really nice. This is actually a functional keychain, and it's made out of 3mm thick aluminum. For my first and second test, I'm pleased with the results. I'm a pretty big Doom guy, if I do say so myself. So my next mission was making the key card. I was still pretty new to learning the software, and I made a pretty big mistake with this. I decided to pick my own bits, and I thought that the smaller bits meant that it would look much nicer. And this thing took way longer than it should have. About 52 hours. Yeah, I'm not kidding. I didn't want to stop it after I realized how long it was going to take. And the results were awesome. You can definitely see some of the milling striations on the keycard itself, and that's because of my questionable milling choices. But overall, I'm very happy with this. It's an all aluminum Doom keycard. Pretty awesome. However, I was using way too much aluminum. So I switched the materials and decided to make this really cool swimming alligator model. For complete transparency, this is a random piece of scrap 2x4 that I found laying around. I did want to test out the low profile vise for this, so I removed the wasteboard from the Z1 and then attached the vise directly to the build plate surface. This was a very fast process, and it was ready to go within minutes. In Makera Studio, I chose the 3-axis relief mode. I threw in the dimensions of the wood, and the software automatically picked all of the bits, feeds, and speeds for me. This only took about an hour to complete, and I only had to swap the bit once. The final result actually looked really nice. However, I couldn't see all of the detail because it was just a cheap piece of wood. I then trimmed this up on my saw, slapped some stain and polyurethane on it, and it came out ridiculously smooth. I genuinely did not expect the final piece to look like this. All in all, this was a very satisfactory test. And just like that, I swapped back to aluminum to carve out a very detailed lunar surface relief. I then did the exact same process for this that I did with the alligator. I clamped my stock material into the vise and then let it rip. A flat end bit for hogging out all of the main material, followed by a very tiny 0.3mm by 30-degree engraving bit for all of the fine details. This entire job only took about 4 hours, and when it was done, it looked incredible. The level of detail it captured in every single crater and ridge was just insane, and I couldn't believe how nice this came out. This is an extremely small 3D printed gear with lots of super tiny teeth. So naturally, I wanted to see if the Z1 would be able to precisely machine this out of Delrin. And after removing the low profile vise, I put the wasteboard back on and clamped down a piece of Delrin stock. And in order to machine this out of Delrin, I had to pull out the smallest bit that I had. And it terrified me at the time because one wrong move and it would have destroyed the bit completely. Now, there isn't really an area to put tabs because it would have messed with the teeth, so I actually just put tape on the bottom side of the Delrin and hoped for the best. You can see that it interlocks with the 3D printed gear just fine and is exactly the same size. I honestly didn't think that it would be able to machine the teeth this perfectly, but it's actually better than the 3D printed part. The teeth on both surfaces mesh extremely well. I absolutely love how this came out. I can machine small gears now. If you are going to be switching materials, you need to make sure that you apply the tool paths, because if you don't apply the tool paths, the machine doesn't know that you've switched materials. So when you go from something like Delrin to aluminum, it's going to think that it's still going into Delrin and the bit will destroy itself. Hypothetically, of course. Moving along, I decided to make something that was actually very practical and necessary to my everyday life, a bottle opener. But as I was saying, this isn't just a regular bottle opener. I decided to recreate the most iconic and the greatest knife from CSGO, the Shadow Daggers. I actually grabbed the bottle opener file from Makera's wiki and then milled it out of a 3mm brass plate following their guide. It actually turned out super slick and the brass looks really nice. I modeled this handle in CAD so that it would fit the brass opener perfectly and then picked a 10mm thick block of solid aluminum. Cutting metal this thick did have me slightly horrified. I did think about it for a minute, but then clamped it down and started the cut. Using 3 different bits, the Z1 carved the handle in about 2.5 hours. It came out absolutely gorgeous. I snipped the tabs off and then filed the edges smooth. I did have to manually tap the holes for the bolts myself because I kind of forgot that step. I then bolted the brass bottle opener to the handle with 2 bolts, and it looks incredible. This is a very heavy duty 10mm thick bottle opener. I am very proud of myself. I love this thing so much. Is it practical? Absolutely not. But will I be using this for every drink going forward? 100%. And for my very final test of the Z1, I decided to machine with the 4th axis. After removing the wasteboard, you put the 4th axis directly onto the build plate and then secure it with 3 bolts. You then plug the cable into the back and you're ready to go. I then clamped a piece of epoxy tooling stock directly into the chuck and made sure that it was parallel to the bed and locked it down. A quick warning, the sample file might seem like you can just open it and start the cut immediately. However, you must reapply your tool paths in the cam tab first. If you don't, the machine will scan the path and then immediately slam the drill bit straight into your workpiece like a jackhammer. As you can see, I found that out the hard way. Once I generated the tool path and checked my probing, I started the job. The roughing pass took about 45 minutes with a flat end, and then it was followed by a 2-hour detail pass with a much smaller engraving bit. The detail on this 3-inch statue is incredible, with virtually no visible step lines or machining marks. No 3D printer can replicate something like this. Extremely, extremely impressive. I then decided to make a Nefertiti bust as well. I downloaded the STL file from the Makera wiki and then threw it into the Makera studio using the 4th axis relief. I then ran the same toolpath setup as the first statue. Even though this piece was slightly smaller, it still took about 2 hours. After cutting it free and then filing the tip of the head, the final result was extremely crisp. It captured all of the fine details and the facial expression effortlessly. I absolutely love this. The statues are just incredible, and the fact that these can be made in about 2 to 3 hours, I am just very impressed by this machine. In conclusion, as a 3D printer guy with very little CNC experience, I thought that I was going to have a headache with this machine and it would take a while to learn. The Z1 might be a little difficult to learn at first, but Makera's knowledge sharing wiki has so much information that genuinely helps you get started. I'm very impressed by every aspect of this machine and genuinely didn't have any major issues that weren't self-inflicted. I can now machine any material such as metal in my workshop for props and anything that I want to build. This is such a cool tool to have and I'm very impressed by it. Makera really has made the ultimate desktop CNC. If you guys are interested in checking this machine out or anything in this video, I have links in the description below. I want to thank Makera for sending this out to me, and I want to thank you guys for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one.